Today we're going to be talking about why you don't need external validation. How do you validate yourself? Because this is a huge problem specifically in Gen Z. I've been talking about this for a very long time because people in my generation, what they tend to do is have full-on mental breakdowns if someone doesn't affirm their new identity, their new feelings, their existence in general. They have a meltdown. We're not going to do that. Why are we not going to do that? Because it's embarrassing. It makes zero sense. Now, of course, there are different levels of seeking external validation. We've all been there at one point or another. Hopefully, you've learned from your mistakes. However, if you're still waiting for a bunch of random people to clap for you, you're going to be waiting forever. Because here's the thing. Every time you're chasing some random person's approval, whether it be through likes online or some random guy, some random girl, you are basically handing them a pen and saying, you decide if I'm worth anything today. That is ridiculous. Because they don't even care about you like that. I promise you, people care about themselves and they focus on their own lives. They're not thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. People are busy worrying about themselves, and that's a good thing. It just means we're the main characters in our own lives. That doesn't mean you have to be narcissistic. That doesn't mean you can't care about other people. You should. You should figure out what you want in life. You should take care of yourself. This makes sense. If you're making someone else the main character in your own life, that's not gonna end well. We all have different goals and interests, and that's normal. And that's just another reason why seeking validation is a losing game. Okay, let's say you get that validation. You're still gonna want more. Because if you feel empty because someone else isn't clapping for you, no amount of applause is going to fix that. Again, I feel like we've all done this at some point in our lives, maybe at school, with our family, whatever the case may be. But the point is to learn from your mistakes. Especially if you grew up feeling unseen, underappreciated, you're gonna wanna try and gain that validation from someone else. And that's okay. But it's up to you to try and fix that. Because you can't go through life waiting for someone else to tell you that you're worth it. You're gonna struggle if that's what you need to feel good about yourself. If you keep chasing this kind of approval, especially from random people, you're gonna end up playing dress up. Different versions of yourself for different people, and then you're gonna wonder why no one really gets you. You're gonna wonder, why is it so hard for me to make friends? You should be roughly the same person in public as you are in private. That doesn't mean you can't have a slightly more professional, personality when you're at work and then be more silly with family and friends. That makes sense. But if you are 2, 3, 4 different people, depending on who you're around, you're never going to find your people. You're not being authentic. You're editing yourself based on who you're around, and that's going to get very exhausting because it's fake. And once you stop chasing external validation, you're also going to learn how to say no and have clear boundaries. Learn to respect your own boundary and other people's. Saying yes just to avoid making someone mad, no, that's not going to work anymore. You have to stop that. The right people will respect those boundaries and the wrong people won't. And guess what? That's called pest control. You don't want those people around anyway. Trying to get people to like you. If you're wearing a costume, how are you going to find, again, your people? If people are looking for you, how will they find you if you're just putting on a performance all the time? What happens when you stop needing external validation is you become dangerous in a good way. You can say no without guilt, and you don't spiral because someone doesn't like you. Guess what? It's impossible to have everyone like you. And you don't want everyone to like you. Do you want some psychopathic person in prison to look up to you and say, yeah, that's a role model for me? No, that would not be a compliment. Not everyone's approval is a compliment. Sometimes rejection protects you. It's a good thing. Also, like I said, you don't chase people. You don't need them to like you. You don't need their approval. You're not desperate because you have a strong sense of identity, and that's real self-love. That doesn't mean you're stuck up. It doesn't mean you're narcissistic or you can't admit you're wrong, because real confidence is knowing your strengths and your weaknesses and working on them quietly. You don't have to announce it to the world. Again, seeking validation. Everyone else is busy with their own lives. They're not going to validate you in the way that you need. So you have to be there for yourself. You have to respect yourself. But what you don't need is external validation. And that's all for today's video, guys. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, like and share. I will see you in the next one. Bye.